When Prince Harry appeared in court to give testimony related to his long-running legal dispute with Associated Newspapers, much of the public attention naturally focused on the broader implications of press intrusion, privacy, and the relationship between the media and the royal family. Yet within the careful language of his statement, one detail quietly stood out. Harry explicitly named Prince William and Kate Middleton, not as adversaries nor as focal points of accusation, but as contextual figures woven into the narrative he was presenting. The mention itself was restrained, almost understated, but its presence carried weight. In a legal setting where every word is deliberate, the inclusion of William and Catherine served a specific purpose. It framed Harry's experiences not in isolation, but within the shared reality of royal life, where media pressure, public scrutiny, and private boundaries have long collided. Importantly, the tone of Harry's statement did not suggest an attempt to reopen personal conflict. Instead, William and Kate were referenced as part of a broader environment, one in which the consequences of media practices extended beyond a single individual. By situating his claims within this shared framework, Harry appeared to underscore a systemic issue rather than a personal grievance. This distinction matters. Public narratives often reduce royal relationships to simplified binaries of alliance and opposition. Court testimony, however, operates differently. It prioritizes context, precedent, and factual grounding. In naming William and Catherine, Harry was not inviting comparison. He was illustrating the scope of the impact he described. For observers, the moment invites a more measured reading. William and Kate are among the most visible figures of the modern monarchy, and their experiences with the press are well documented. By referencing them, Harry implicitly acknowledged a shared exposure to intense scrutiny. The statement did not speculate on their private reactions or positions. It simply recognized their presence within the same media ecosystem. From a broader perspective, this inclusion subtly reframed the narrative. Rather than positioning his legal action as a personal vendetta, Harry's words suggested continuity. The pressures he described were not unique to him. They were part of a long-standing dynamic affecting multiple members of the royal family, regardless of their current roles or relationships. The restraint of the language is worth noting. In an era where public discourse often amplifies conflict, the testimony avoided emotional escalation. There were no accusations directed at William or Catherine, no implication of blame or betrayal. Their names appeared as reference points, not targets. This approach aligns with the legal nature of the proceedings. Courtrooms reward precision, not provocation. By maintaining a neutral tone, Harry reinforced the seriousness of his claims. He positioned the issue as structural rather than personal, inviting the court to consider patterns rather than personalities. For followers of William and Kate, the mention may initially feel jarring. Their public image is closely tied to stability, continuity, and composure. Yet their inclusion in the testimony does not undermine that image. If anything, it highlights the shared challenges faced by those within the institution, regardless of how differently they have chosen to navigate them. Kate Middleton, in particular, has long been associated with a measured approach to public life. Her ability to maintain discretion under scrutiny is often cited as one of her defining strengths. Harry's reference did not challenge that perception. It simply acknowledged her role within the same media environment that shaped his own experiences. Prince William's position as heir adds another layer of complexity. His relationship with the press has evolved over time, shaped by both responsibility and restraint. The testimony did not draw distinctions between their approaches. It did not suggest divergence or alignment. It simply recognized shared exposure. For readers willing to move beyond surface interpretations, the moment offers an opportunity to recalibrate understanding. The legal case is not about personal dynamics within the royal family. It is about the boundaries between public interest and private life, and how those boundaries have been tested over decades. By naming William and Catherine, Harry's statement subtly reinforced the idea that these pressures are institutional. They transcend individual relationships. They persist regardless of personal choices or public roles. This framing shifts attention away from interpersonal drama and toward systemic accountability. It is also significant what the testimony did not do. It did not speculate on current relationships. It did not invoke past disagreements. It did not invite the court or the public to draw emotional conclusions. The absence of such elements speaks as loudly as their inclusion would have. In the context of ongoing media narratives, this restraint feels almost countercultural. Yet it reflects the seriousness of the forum in which the statement was delivered. Legal testimony demands discipline, and Harry's words reflected that constraint. For longtime observers of the royal family, the moment serves as a reminder of shared history. William, Harry, and Catherine all came of age under extraordinary public scrutiny. Their paths diverged, but the early conditions that shaped them were not entirely separate. The testimony acknowledged that shared backdrop without reopening old chapters. From a wider lens, the inclusion of William and Kate reinforces the idea that media practices affect institutions, not just individuals. The royal family, as a public entity, exists in constant negotiation with the press. Legal challenges like this one force that relationship into sharper focus. As the case proceeds, it will likely continue to generate headlines. Yet moments like this invite a slower reading, one that resists the urge to interpret every mention as a signal of conflict. Sometimes, a name appears simply because it belongs there, grounded in context rather than emotion. Ultimately, Harry's testimony did not redefine relationships. It did not redraw lines. It acknowledged shared experience. In doing so, it offered a more nuanced understanding of the pressures at the heart of the case. For readers, the takeaway lies not in who was named, but in how and why. The careful framing suggests an attempt to elevate the conversation above personal narrative, focusing instead on structural questions that extend beyond any single royal figure. In that sense, the mention of Prince William and Kate Middleton functioned not as a spark, but as a stabilizer. It anchored the testimony in a collective reality, reminding the court and the public that the issues under examination are broader, deeper, and more enduring than individual stories alone.